I can't do this, guys. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ria, and in today's video we are going to be picking my February TBR using our trusty TBR prompts, as well as going through my January reading wrap up. I think this is actually how we're going to go forward for 2026. I know I normally do just a TBR picking, but I feel like to add something else to the video, because they're normally quite short, I'm going to include a short wrap up of the books I've read in the month before. I don't want to do a separate video because I feel like I just don't have a full length video to talk about these books, just because normally they would be in a reading vlog. I feel like you can see my main thoughts in that, and then we can just do like a little synopsis of my thoughts instead of doing two separate videos. I feel like it would be easier for me and it'll be easier for you, and it's just a fun way to lengthen my TBR picking videos because they tend to be 10-minute videos anyway. I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope it's something you like and aren't opposed to. Let's get straight into the first bit of this video, which is picking our February TBR. Now, I think this year I'm going to ditch the extra 2 prompts or extra 2 books that I pick myself at the end of the videos. I just feel like I don't get through a TBR anyway, and I think just to give myself a fighting chance, I should just stick to the 6 books I pick with you guys. I think that's the best idea, and it's also just more fun. I don't know. I don't need to pick the extra 2 books because I don't normally read them anyway. I'll just kind of mood read, and the books I pick aren't normally the same as I'll be in the mood for later on in the month. So I think we'll just, like I said, stick to doing 6 prompts and 6 books for these videos now instead of the extra 2. I think that's all I really have to say. I do have 3 new releases coming in February. I've got The Night Prince, which I have already read, so I won't be reading that or picking that this month. I literally will just be getting the physical copy of the book, which is so exciting. And then I have A Dark Forgetting, which is by Rebecca Ross, I want to say. I could be wrong. Let me look. Dark Forgetting. Oh no! Why did I think it was Rebecca Ross? It's Christian Cicerelli who wrote The Crimson Moth, is that right? I feel that's right. Yeah, and The Rebel Witch. And I haven't actually read either of those, so it'll be interesting to go into A Dark Forgetting separately to those 2 books. I'm excited. I pre-ordered it because it sounded really good and it just looks very intriguing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going into that once I get it. It's halfway through the month that it comes out. And then we have The Wrath of the Fallen by, why is it? Amber V. Nicole, but I won't be picking that one either just because I know I haven't read 2 of the books between the 1st and the 4th, so I've got those to read before I can even think about The Wrath of the Fallen. But I actually can't believe we're at the point where that book is almost out in the world as a physical paperback in the UK, because the deadline and the date for publishing got pushed back so much. So I can't believe we're almost at that point, but that's the end of Feb anyway, so we won't be picking that either way. Let's just get straight into the prompt picking part of this video. Prompt number 1 is new release. Absolutely typical. Do you think I could do this as like a new release that's coming out or a new release that's already out? What do I have? Ooh. Guys, oh my gosh. What have I just had come out? Let's look at my little tracker. Melting Point by CC Williams. This gorgeous cover. This sounds so good. And it's, oh, the cover is just stunning. Then we have, this literally just randomly turned up in the post, and that is It's Different This Time by Joss Richard. I don't know how long this has been out in the actual world, but for us UK girls, I feel like we weren't able to get our hands on it for a long time, and the publication date was actually a lot later than the US, etc. I thought this was coming in April, but it literally turned up from Amazon like 2 weeks ago. And then we have The Long Game by Rachel Reed. Or we have obviously A Dark Forgetting. I feel I'm gonna go with one of these. I know which one I want to pick, but let's read the blurb for this. June Wood has nothing left to lose. With her hit TV show cancelled and no acting jobs lined up, being lured back to New York by a mysterious email was easy. New York? Oh my god! Thanks to a clause in her former landlord's will, June and her old roommate Adam Harper now own the multi-million-dollar property, or they will in a month once the paperwork is signed. June and Adam are stuck together for 4 weeks, which would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that they haven't spoken in 5 years. But this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and once it's over she can return to LA and forget all about Adam, New York, and everything that went wrong in their friendship. Through shared meals and late night conversations, old wounds and long buried sparks resurface. It soon becomes strikingly clear that June and Adam have unfinished business. Second chances are always a risk, but maybe if they are finally honest with each other and themselves, it could be different this time. That actually sounds amazing. It's been so long since I read the blurb of this when I ordered it that I genuinely forgot what it was about, but that sounds so good, and it's a New York setting. And then obviously we've got The Long Game. I don't think I will read the blurb of this just in case you haven't read Heated Rivalry. This is obviously continuing on from Heated Rivalry and seeing them after everything that happened in that. I've heard this is very mental health representation heavy, which I am looking forward to, but I'm also scared about. I feel out of the two of these, this does sound amazing, but I feel because I recently read Heated Rivalry, I will most likely pick this up. So I think prompt number 1 is going to be The Long Game. I'm so excited for this. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Prompt number 2. A book set outside the UK. I mean, I feel like that's quite an easy one to choose for because you can literally pick any fantasy. A book set outside the UK. I mean, we could do It's Different This Time. I did really like the sound of that. I actually think the only books I can't choose are Magnolia Park Into the Dark and Clockwork Princess, which I wouldn't choose anyway. Aside from that, I feel they're all set outside the UK. I really want to read A Kiss of Iron and The Second Death of Locke and Hollow. And literally any of these books I really want to read. We could do A Kiss of Iron by Claire Sager. I recently purchased this and I've heard nothing but good things. The Second Death of Locke. I actually have no idea where this is set. This has been one I've wanted to pick up for the longest time now, so I am thinking maybe this. I feel like whichever one I pick I won't read. Also, the colour scheme. Sorry, what? The colour scheme is unreal. Book I really want to pick up at the moment is The Second Death of Locke by Vial Bovlino. So I'm tempted to pick this one. Yeah, I think The Second Death of Locke is going to be our second pick and second prompt for this video. On to prompt number 3. A book that ends in an even number of pages. Right, let's get looking through some of these books that I've got here. 415, 505. I feel like this is 333. 312. Option number 1. 542. Option number 2. Diamond, perhaps. 596. 3 options. Blood We Crave Part 2, Diabound and Hollow. Oh my god, I don't even know which one I want to read. I think I'm reading something similar to this at the moment, so I'm not sure if I want to pick that up yet. Every time I say I want to pick Diabound, something just makes me move away from it, so I don't think I want to read that right now. I think the book I'm most likely to actually pick up, because I recently read the book before this as well, is The Blood We Crave Part 2. Prompt number 3 for this video. Prompt number 4. Soft DNF. Never actually state if I've soft DNF'd a book. I don't put it into red or anything. I just kind of forget about it and don't say to anyone that I've soft DNF'd it. So I have A Reaper at the Gates. This is just because I wasn't in the mood to read it. The Throne of Broken Gods. Clockwork Princess, which I just was listening to as an audiobook. City of Souls and Sinners, which I was also listening to as an audiobook. I feel like the one I aim to get through next, finish and get off my mind is Clockwork Princess. So I think this is going to be my 4th pick for this video. Yeah, I think that's the one I'm realistically going to get to over the others. So next prompt, a book with a dark black grey cover. Okay. That's actually a lot more blue than I thought. A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly, option 1. God of Ruin by Rena Kent, again black and there's grey, so option 2. The Kingmaker by Kennedy Ryan. Bourbon and Lies by Victoria Wilder. So actually got Brimstone by Callie Hart, which I have not read yet, even though it's on this month's TBR. I'm between Brimstone and God of Ruin. I think those are the 2 I'm between. And I'm in a fantasy mood and I really want to pick up Brimstone as soon as I can. Obviously it's highly anticipated for me. I think we're gonna go with Brimstone for prompt number 5. On to our last prompt for this video. Continuing series. Brilliant. We have God of Pain, of course, by Rena Kent. This is book 4 in the Legacy of God series, and I do really want to get round to this one. A Reaper at the Gates, obviously book 3. Beg, Borrow or Steal, which is book 3 in the When in Rome series. Highly anticipated read for me. Throne of Broken Gods by Amber V. Nicole. Throne of Ice and Blood by Marion Blackwood. In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. These are the 3 I think I'm leaning towards most. This is one I could be potentially in the mood for at this moment because I just fancy something not light-hearted. I just feel would be a really sweet time. I think I'd enjoy myself a lot. I have been waiting to read it for a while now. I've loved both books in the series before this, and I can't wait for the one after as well. Throne of Ice and Blood, because this is one I listened to as an audiobook. It could potentially be picked up because it's one I was intending to listen to very soon. God, I actually kind of want all of these on my TBR. I literally don't know which to pick. I don't know which I'm more likely to read. They both sound good, but for such different reasons. I think we're gonna do God of Ruin on my 26 and 2026. I feel maybe this, and it's one I'm probably more likely to be in the mood for, so I don't know, but I think I could get around to both of these either way. I think for now prompt 6 is going to be God of Ruin by Rena Kent. This is such an interesting TBR. I'm just going to quickly take you through this TBR one last time to refresh your memories. So we've got The Long Game by Rachel Reed, The Blood We Crave Part 2 by Monty J, The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino, Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare, Brimstone by Callie Hart, and finally God of Ruin by Rena Kent. Interesting. What an intriguing TBR. I'm now going to hand you over to future me, who is going to take you through my January reading wrap up. Okay, so let's get straight into the wrap up, the wrap up portion of this video. So my January reading wrap up. We have 3 days, 2 full days and half a day left of the month, so I could well finish an audiobook, or if I potentially just sat and binged a book, I could also read or finish another. So take this with a pinch of salt. You'll get my full confirmed reading wrap up in the beginning of February over on TikTok, my TikTok. This is just as of now when I'm filming, so I can get this uploaded. But yeah, this is the January reading wrap up side of this video. I have read 6 books in January so far, so I've got a real mix that I have picked up and started and finished. One of these books was from my January TBR, which was Sin Bin. The rest I did not read and have not picked up in January, so honestly, you see what I mean when I say I don't have a finished TBR. I had 2 DNFs, quite a bad start to the year, but then it got better, so we will just get straight into the books that I've picked up and read, and you will see which ones were DNFs. The first book I picked up was Dear Grumpy Boss by Julia Wolf. This was one, I think I read another book in this series and I actually didn't enjoy that either. I saw someone else really enjoy this book and I was like, I'll give it a try, it sounds good. And I was just kind of in the mood for a KU read, so I picked it up and I actually really didn't enjoy it. I actually got 40% of the way through this book before I DNF'd it. I actually found that this book started out really well, and then at the 40% mark I found the MMC very intolerable. He is the boss of this company, and the FMC also works at this company after she leaves her old life to kind of get away from her ex. And then obviously she gets into this job where our main character is the boss of this company. He's the CEO. And it is said from the very beginning, he fully admits that he gets lost in work and being the boss. So that is why every ex that he's had is an ex, because of the way he becomes when he's working and the fact that he just prioritises work over everything else, which is fair enough when you're the boss. Actually seeing that happen throughout this book was so jarring to read about, because he does fully lose himself. He becomes a total idiot. He becomes the boss. He just does not treat other people well, and I just found that the way he was treating Elise, our FMC, was so hot and cold, and I could not stand it. He was very over possessive of her, but then as soon as they get on this work trip, he leaves her high and dry with 2 random strangers that she's never met, just to go off with this woman because it's what he's done every other time that he's been on a work trip. After, when he comes back and he sees that she's annoyed, he's totally oblivious and does not understand why she's annoyed. And I fully admit in this review on Goodreads that I shouldn't have picked up this book, because books like that haven't been working for me recently, and I've picked up lots and I've DNF'd lots, but I thought I'd give it a try anyway because I had heard good things, but it just wasn't for me, and that's totally okay. I personally don't recommend any of the books in this series. I've read 2 now and I've DNF'd both. So yeah, I don't recommend either. On to the stack of books that I have read. They're all here. I guess you can guess what that is. The next book that I picked up was Sin Bin, and I actually went back into this. I also DNF'd this book. I just don't care for this entire world, I think, at this point. I absolutely loved Slapshot from this series, but every other book I just do not care about, and I don't know why. For some reason I just cannot give my attention to them, and I just cannot bring myself to actually care about the writing, the characters, any of these stories aside from Slapshot. When I talk about this series, just consider Slapshot a complete anomaly. Don't consider it to be one of the books in this series, because for me that book was so good. So whenever I talk about it, I am talking about every other book in the series but Slapshot, okay? So I think I got 50% of the way through this, and I just did not care for it, as I've said. So I don't know if I will ever come back into this, because I might potentially want to pick it up later on. I genuinely thought I was going to absolutely love this book, but I just didn't care for it, like I've said. I think the first 15% of this was good, and then for me it just kind of fell off after, and I just didn't really care for any of the story and the characters. I have said as well in this review on Goodreads that I've written is that I just think it's the DC Stars series as a whole for me. I don't know if it's Chelsea Curto that I'm just not vibing with. I don't know, does that sound bad? I don't know. Obviously I did love Slapshot, so I'm kind of in the predicament of, is it just me with this series? Is it just me not liking it? Because I've seen so many other people love it. I would love to try her other series because I thought maybe they might work for me more, but I have read 5 books of hers now, and they're all the DC Stars books, and 1 out of 5 has been moderately, like, I have not liked any of the other books aside from Slapshot, which I loved. So I don't know. I don't want to come across as rude when I say it, but I just don't know if it's a series thing, a me thing, or me just not getting on with the writing style, author setup. I don't know. Obviously you can have that, and I'm not trying to come across as rude at all. It's just like other people don't vibe with other authors, like, I don't know. I'm going to try her other series, which is the Love for a Lens series, see if I get on with the first book in that, and if I don't, I actually might just give up, because I feel I don't want to, if I know I'm not going to enjoy her books, then I don't want to leave negative reviews because I know other people love it, and I don't want to just give negative reviews to give negative reviews. That's not what I'm here to do. I want to enjoy everything I read. An unfortunate start to the year, I would say. 2 DNFs at the very beginning. Not how you want to start the year. And the third book that I picked up in January was Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. This is obviously an absolutely viral book, TV show at the moment. It has gone crazy, and I remember when the first sort of clips of the TV show came out and I saw these books and I was like, do I really want to pick it up right now? And then the hype went absolutely crazy, so I downloaded this book and I read it just before the show came out in the UK. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. I ended up rating it a 4.5 star, so it was very good compared to the first 2 books I had. For me, the obsession wasn't quite there. I did obviously love it, but it wasn't like I was obsessed from page 1. It did take me a good, I don't even know how many, where is like part 3? It took me a good while to get into this. I feel like the first time I really got invested in the story was probably when they're in Tampa Bay. And I feel from that chapter it's where it really kicked in for me. And I did genuinely love the second half of this book, and I think you can tell from my annotations, but I genuinely don't know whether I love the book or the TV show more. I love the book for the fact that you get their inner monologues whilst you're seeing these things happen, but I feel like the execution of the TV show is so good that it's the literal only thing that is a negative for the TV show is the fact that you don't get the inner monologues. Yeah, I love this and I cannot wait to go into the long game. I'm really excited. I'm also scared because I've heard, like I said in the TBR section of this video, I've heard it touches on mental health quite a lot, and I'm nervous for that. I don't know how deep it's gonna go, but I'm nervous but excited because I feel like we don't get emotional mental health depth to books as much as we could. I see a lot of people say or give recs because of these mental health reps, but I feel like we don't get enough. I love an emotional book, so I'm excited for it. It's on my TBR for the month, so I'm very excited for the second one. The fourth book I picked up was The Blood We Crave Part 1 by Monty J. This is the third book in the Hollow Boys series, and I actually thought I was going to prefer this to book 2, which is based on Rook and Sage, and I actually love their books, so I feel I was expecting more because of this book being about Thatcher and Lyra. I loved them from book 1, so I was very excited to see their story. And do not get me wrong, I loved this book. I rated it a 4 star, but I feel it is for a select few. I don't think I quite connected to the story the way I expected to. I don't know what I expected going into it, but I feel my love for Thatcher and Lyra really solidified my kind of enjoyment of this book, and I think I was just going to enjoy it either way because it's Thatcher and Lyra and I was expecting a lot from them. Some of the other side characters, like Alistair from book 1, the main character in book 1, he does jar me from everyone else's point of view. I really enjoyed seeing his character in book 1, but every other character, he's just got too much to say. Aside from that, I do like all the characters in this series, and I did really enjoy this book. And I also believe this is in a reading vlog, the same reading vlog as Heated Rivalry, so that should be coming out at some point. Bear with me guys, bear with me. The long-awaited Alchemized by Senlin Yu. I read this in the time frame of like 20 days. I actually read around 100 pages and then picked it up as an audiobook, and I will admit wholeheartedly I do regret listening to it instead of reading it. I feel I could have connected to the story way more if I had read it, and I acknowledge my mistake. I know how many people absolutely love this book and have found it to be god tier. I can't go back now. It is far too long for me to even think about rereading it this close to it, so I don't know. I might go and read Manacled at some point just to compare them as well, but I don't know, guys. I ended up rating this a 3.75. I felt 4 was too high, but a 3.5 was too low, so I settled for a 3.75, and I think for me it works. I was kind of underwhelmed. Again, prefacing this by saying I listened to it as an audiobook. I never connect the same if I listen to it as an audiobook. Bear that in mind. I feel it was a bit dragged out. It's over 1,000 pages. I feel that's fair of me. It felt very much dragged out, and it felt like there was too much world building and too much to it. It's hard to say because I feel like I sound like I'm stupid because of this, but I genuinely don't think as much world building was needed as it was, because most of it wasn't even referred back to, and I think sometimes it was just pages after pages of world building, and it just wasn't necessary to the actual story and to the plot, because it was not, like I said, referred back to. And I understand it's a unique world and it's something of itself, so it should have some world building, but it felt too much in my opinion. Love a bit of world building, do not get me wrong, I love it, but there is a limit to what you need, and I think this was beyond that limit. And I don't want to sound like I didn't enjoy it, because again, world building is necessary, I'm not saying it's not, but I feel like it was constant, and I feel like for a standalone as well, I get it's over 1,000 pages, but don't get me wrong, if you loved it, fair enough. And then the last book I read in January was Anathema by Kari Lake. This is obviously my most recent read. I actually really enjoyed this. I feel nothing really actually happened throughout. It is 600 pages and I genuinely feel nothing happened. It's a very slow paced book, but I enjoyed the nothing that happened. The first 200 pages, you are literally not even kind of in what the back is. The back takes place at around 200 pages into this book. It wasn't what I was expecting. I genuinely thought from the go it was going to be a bit faster. It obviously wasn't. I did still enjoy it, but I also feel like it lacked a bit in the fact that it's so long for nothing to really happen in it. I think it's going to be a trilogy, and I genuinely believe it could have been a duology or even a standalone. I didn't even realise it was going to be a trilogy until I finished it. I thought it was a duology, and then before I thought it was a standalone, bunched together Nocticadia and Anathema, and I did think they were both standalones, but they're not. But this isn't a standalone, this is a trilogy. For me, it doesn't feel like there's enough plot for there to be 2 other books about this. I do understand there is unresolved parts to this world and there is still stuff that needs to happen, but like I have said, I think you could genuinely fit it into 1 more book. Obviously there can be more plot development in the second book, but at the moment it feels like it could be resolved in book 2. And that is my only negative to this. At the moment I feel like I don't even need to pick up the second book because it's not really got a massive cliffhanger. Spoiler potentially, I don't know. But it doesn't have this massive cliffhanger, so I don't feel like I'm waiting on bated breath to go into the next book. I feel like I just repeated myself about 50 times, but I don't know. I'm not very good at wrap-ups, so yeah. And I will now hand you back over to past me, who's going to end out this video for you. That is it. I hope you enjoyed the little reading wrap-up bit of this as well. That is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment, and let me know. And I will see you all very shortly in the next one, where hopefully we can read some of the books we picked together for February. Like I had a good reading month because, I mean, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. There were some good reads, some memorable reads for sure, and there were some slightly worse reads. It wasn't the best immediate start, but then I feel like it did get better the further we got into it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you did. Let me know if you like this format. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.